Joining me now, member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin. All right, good evening, Congressman. You are on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Turkey is very important to the United States, especially given the fact that we have certain locations, certain important assets, shall I say, that we have in Turkey. With all of the uprisings that are going on, this alleged attack by ISIS, the alleged coup, the demand by Erdogan that we return someone from, I believe, Virginia, the cleric that he wants to impose death or hasn't given him 2 death sentences. How do we do this dance?
Well, it's been an increasingly difficult relationship because you have Erdogan, who started off as a more moderate, looking to stabilize his country, and what the developments have been over the course of the last few months has been a movement within Turkey in the wrong direction. We have assets right there that need to be protected. Regardless of those assets there, you also have moderate Syrian rebels that have been training, operating inside of Istanbul. You have religious leaders like Ecumenical Patriarch of the Greek Orthodox Church in there. But you also have a lot of foreign fighter movement through Turkey and the refugee crisis. So while we would maybe love to just completely be disengaged from Turkey, the fact is that's actually the wrong way to go for America's foreign policy because they are right there in the middle of a whole lot of issues that directly impact our own security here at home.
Well, but given the fact that you yourself admit that Erdogan is moving more militant, more radical, locking up cops, are you suggesting that we hand over the cleric from Virginia?
No, I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying that we don't really have an option to disengage from Turkey and just say that Turkey can take care of their own issues. It has nothing to do with us. We are fighting ISIS. We have a presence there that is important. But a lot of the way we're seeing Europe losing their continent and in the Middle East, where we hear about attacks on U.S. troops and those traveling to Syria and Iraq to train and fight with ISIS, a lot of that foreign fighter movement is through Turkey. From that standpoint is important, but also there's some financing of ISIS that's being alleged. So there's a whole lot of issues right now in and around Turkey that I'm just saying that we can't disengage from there.
Right, I understand. All right, I want to move on. Now we see the president is going to Louisiana. He didn't announce that until after Donald Trump was there. And I have to read this to you. I must tell you, it was a shocking statement by Josh Earnest today. He says, on the Louisiana visit, he says, the president is eager to get a first-hand look at the impact of the devastating floods, hear from more officials about the response, including how the federal government can assist. That's 13 days later, he's going to show up, and he's eager. I mean, how do you guys feel about that, given what they did to George Bush and Katrina?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Louisiana, this is the worst natural disaster that they've faced since Hurricane Katrina. And while the media wants to give President Obama a mulligan while he's playing golf on Martha's Vineyard, if this was President Bush playing golf days later after Katrina, the media would be calling for his head. So right now you have little boys and little girls all around the country who say, one day I want to become president of the United States. Well, what that means is not this. As soon as that natural disaster hits, your instincts are to go on the ground to stand not just with compassion and a hug to talk to victims, but to bring the support of a unified nation.
Let me ask you finally about this $400 million that we all believe was a ransom. Is you guys going to do anything about this, or is it just over? It's done. We sent the cash over in an unmarked plane and all that stuff.
Well, no, it can't be over. There's a couple of things. I mean, one is that from an oversight standpoint, there are still some questions that need to get answered. But also, we have a new president who will be taking office in January. We need to renew the Iran Sanctions Act, scheduled to expire by the end of the year.
Are you suggesting we can get the money back?
Well, I'm suggesting that we need to put leverage back on the table, because for everything that we need to deal with Iran's bad behaviors, The leverage was a sanctions relief. It wasn't because we asked nicely with a smile. It's because they wanted the money. So in order to bring the Iranians back to the table, we need the leverage back at the table, and we have to move and evolve our foreign policy where we aren't paying cash ransoms. The Iranians, they're looking at this $400 million. They're calling it a ransom. As we watch Simone Biles win gold down in Rio for gymnastics, if verbal gymnastics was an Olympic sport, this president would be winning gold.
Oh, very nice. Congressman Lee Zeldin, thanks for being with us. And Donald Trump, senior advisor Boris Epshteyn, joins me now. All right, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that $400 million, but I got to tell you, sending cash in an unmarked plane. And he said, what did he say? They don't have a bank over there or something?
Well, the issue was, Judge, that they sent the money in foreign currency, because if it had been sent in dollars, that would have been a direct violation of U.S. law. So it seems to me like that's some obstruction of justice, right? If you're just exchanging money, that sounds like money laundering to me.
Do you think we should call Loretta Lynch right away?
Well, you know, do you think she would indict? Probably not, because she's probably on a tarmac with Bill Clinton.
Let's talk about Donald Trump.
Let's do it.
You're a senior advisor. Sea change this week. I think he had a great week this week. I told him that last night. He reached out to the minority communities. He talked to the African-American communities, the inner cities. And, you know, he talked about some really important stuff, saying that he regretted saying the wrong thing, and that he looked at the camera, and I looked at him, and he said, I regret causing personal pain. And I believed him when he said that, you know. And, you know, so how long are we going to see this Donald Trump?
This is the Donald Trump for the next 79 days, Judge.
Yeah.
This is the Donald Trump you'll see, somebody who is measured, but who is very convinced.
Why? What happened in the last week?
It's not a huge sea change.
Yes, it is.
What it is really somebody who's so focused on winning, and he knows what it takes. It takes delivering the message, a concentration on delivering the message of national security, the economy, and talking to all sectors of the American public, all people, Hispanics, African Americans. Listen, we all know. Cities in this country, the inner cities are devastated, Judge. They're absolutely destroyed.
There's no question about
and Hillary Clinton has done nothing in her career except pass that awful crime bill in the 90s to help those inner cities.
Who called them super predators?
Yeah, was that Donald Trump? I didn't think so. That was,
I don't think it was.
But the media doesn't want to talk about that.
But let's talk about what he needs to do to get those swing states that he's having so much trouble with. You know, with the coal and gas and oil and the energy that we have in the United States. How is he going to help? What can he do?
Well, he's talking about lifting the ban on coal mining. And remember, Hillary Clinton said that coal jobs are gone. So that's why that Rust Belt is not going to be going for her.
But then Bill Clinton came back and said, oh, yeah, we're going to take care of you.
Well, so they're flip-flopping on all the issues. And that's what the Democrats have done for a long time. Really, the Democrats have fooled people in the American middle and lower classes into voting for them. Because if you look at what's happened in the middle class, it's disappearing in this country. And it's disappearing because of ultra-high taxes on the middle class. It's disappearing because of trade. Look, just because of NAFTA, we've lost 700,000 jobs. Because of TPP, which we know Hillary Clinton supports, we'd lose millions more.
Is Donald Trump in favor of the Keystone Pipeline?
Yes, he is. And that was a part of the speech on the economy. On energy, he talked about lifting the ban on coal mining and absolutely building that Keystone Pipeline. So everyone around the world knows that America is determined to use the resources we have here so we're not beholden to others abroad.
Do you know that we can absolutely support ourselves on the energy that we have in this country?
Of course.
And yet we prefer to rely on our enemies?
And a lot of that is because of the pay-to-play that's been going on, right? Because a lot of those groups that are not friendly to us have given money to entities like the Clinton Foundation to keep themselves in the game. You know that Russia controls 1/5 of uranium produced in the United States?
20%. Is that what that Clinton Foundation deal from the guy named Justra from Canada, who gave all the money to the foundation? You need to watch my show. I talk about that stuff all the time.
And the Department of State had to approve it. Who was the Secretary of State? Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, approved it.
Yeah, that's
but there's no crossing of lines between the State Department and let me ask you a question. What does Donald Trump do this week?
This is going to be a week that's focused on immigration, keeping Americans safe and keeping American workers' jobs safe.
Is he going to deport 11 million people?
The start is going to be with the illegal immigrants who are the criminals. That's going to be the start. And then he'll work with the Department of Homeland Security, with the other departments to determine what you do next. So it'll be a decision.
Well, let's say that 1 million are criminals. Then what?
You deport those first million, and then you determine how to best keep American jobs safe. Is it deportation? Is it some other policies?
American jobs or American families?
Both.
At that point, jobs.
Well,
after the criminals are gone.
Yeah, but you have to keep in mind that just because you deport a certain amount of folks doesn't mean others aren't coming in. We have to secure the border as well. And Donald Trump has been very clear on securing
about building that wall?
The wall, the huge wall. We're all excited about the wall. I'm all in on the wall.
Good. You're all in.
I love the wall.
Boris Epshteyn, good to have you here
Thanks
tonight. Thank you. And coming up, could a federal judge's ruling against Hillary Clinton change everything? Could the lies finally catch up with her? We'll ask former Attorney General Michael Mukasey what he thinks next.